Okay, welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time. It is time for us to talk about ScapeCon, or at least try to relive it. Relive it, rethink it, talk about it a little bit tonight. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ToV live stream. I am Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, and I have with me tonight on our panel of people who are going to help me recap ScapeCon, those who were there, those who have seen things, is Josiah, Roguescaper, we got Joe Crazy, and we have Adam and Rowan from Hexala here tonight, guesting with us. Welcome, guys. Tonight, I hope we're all doing good, and I hope all of you out there in the audience are doing good tonight. And how about we get started with this? In no particular order, really. I mean, ScapeCon, I think overall was a very fun event. It's always great to go to. But I will start with this. Me and Joe, we've been to ScapeCon before. Three, Joe twice. So we're kind of repeat customers. But I like to know
repeat customers. I like
repeat
that.
customers. Yeah. The perspective of those who, this is you, Josiah, Adam, Rowan, this is you guys' first time going to ScapeCon. So how about we start first with Rowan, and how about you give, if you're able in this second, to just give us your overall perspective of what you thought there first.
Oh, I should have prepared an answer. I mean, so we only got to go the one day, and we only played in two events because we weren't sure what time we'd be able to get there in the morning, so we didn't do any morning events. But it was definitely a fun time getting to meet a lot of the people of the community, getting to sit down and play with members of the community, and it was a really fun and positive event, and it was a very welcoming environment, a lot more welcoming than I had initially anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Adam, what do you think?
So I thought the event was a lot of fun. So from a new player, like a new person kind of getting into the cons team with Heroscape, it was, I was expecting something a little harder to like get into. Like I was expecting it to be a little more hardcore, right? So like especially when I was hearing like, yeah, they're here to play Heroscape, I was like, because Ro and I are more of casual players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really looking forward to the like rules heavy, like being down in the dirt kind of like experience, but it kind of subverted that expectation in the sense that it was just a bunch of people coming to play Heroscape. The rules are important. You need to be a good sportsman. But yeah, we're just playing Heroscape, having a good time. Like you do something wrong, you get told that you're not playing that right. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm not playing that right. But it was all friendly, right? It wasn't like, you've ruined my experience here. So yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think correction, and trust me, like even me, my third time, I still like getting corrected or correcting myself when I'm playing the game, usually. But it's correction with kindness, So it makes it a little bit easier, and yeah, the friendliness of everybody is always, it's one of the reasons why I come back, because everybody is just a good, strong, community. Josiah, what do you think?
Yeah, it was really, it was just an overall wonderful experience. It was my first in-person competitive event I've ever been to. I've done a couple online tournaments, but just like it's kind of like what's been said, just really, you read online the people talking about like the meta-analysis, the character, all this, and they think it's going to be like the sweatiest event ever. Everyone's going to be really crunchy and carrying too much. And I had people be like, "Oh, you want to bond, or you want to do this, or like not like playing the game for me, but like making sure I was making optimal moves that didn't overlook anything." And it was just like a generally friendly experience. And like for someone who kind of just plays, like I like the competitive aspect of it, just but has never been located kind of close to that it was just a wonderful experience to really. I really just wanted to try a bunch of units I never played before, you know, like, and just see how well they do. Most of them didn't do good. But like, even when I was losing every game, it was like I was having the time of my life. I never like felt like defeated or deflated. I was like, cool, let's go to the next match and try something new. So it was really just invigorating and enjoyable, I'd say.
Absolutely. Did any of, I mean, for me and Joe, I don't think we're as intimidated anymore, even though it's like when we're facing against someone with like Chris Perkins or Dysel or others, we're kind of like, please be gentle. But I mean, did you guys feel intimidated by those of like a player you recognize that is like maybe like 10 levels up from you? And as far as like gameplay,
none of you got to play
something.
against me, so.
I played
I
against
had-
Chris Perkins, and it was one of the most fun matches I've ever played.
Sure.
That man's like a computer, because it was like Protector's Full
Like a
Art
computer.
against Warriors of Ashra. So it was like we were both like standing up, and it was like intense, but like in a really fun way. Like there was like no dead at time. It was like we were like rolling dice, and he just kind of knew like, oh, you had 5, you had 3 here. It was just like there was no like it was super fun. Like I loved it, because I always have to kind of take a step back. And I play with my dad and my sister and stuff like that, and they're like, "What do I do here?" And I have to explain it to him. But he was like, "Oh, you should do like." It was kind of like a weird role reversal, and I loved it. Kind of being the learny and not the trainee type of person.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may add to that, and
Go ahead,
and I've heard this being said a lot too, is that nobody there wants to beat you because you don't know how to play the game. You know, like they want you to play against the best version
Bring your
of
best,
you
yeah.
and your
Exactly.
army. So it's, when it comes to talking about like the sweatiness, 2 things happen there. One, like I just said, like no one wants to play against and beat you because you forgot to move your bond character, or you didn't activate this power, or you didn't do this instead, because that's how the army works, And it's like if you're coming from a community that is very toxic, that might seem really toxic. You're like, oh, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to play my army. I don't know how to play my army. But like, we are trying to be as helpful as possible. But then the other thing about, you guys may not feel if it's a sweaty event, because I can't imagine. Because for me, I felt too, and even though I got more victories this time around than I did last time, but I still feel I'm down here.
Yeah.
Real down here when it comes to like skill level. But like, I can't imagine being in that top 16 of ScapeCon Championship. I think, if anything, that's where the sweat is. Like the only sweat we're dealing with is running around and building up our own sweat. But the stress sweat of playing this game, I think, is definitely. I mean, because I want to talk to people that are in that top 16, which I believe Cody was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, and then we got Wayne here in the chat saying, "Great group. I appreciated Dadscaper's advice on last week's live stream to paint a brown wash over some of the flesh tones on AOA figures, as well as black wash over most of the figures in general." Yeah, no, it was a great stream with Dadscaper last week for sure. And let's see here. Wayne says, "Great advice. My Sergeant Drake 3 no longer looks like Zombie Drake now." I almost feel like just having keeping a Drake Alexander just in the box, and keeping the plastic on, just and setting it aside, because you never know if someday that might be a collector's item, like a pale-faced, Drake Alexander. You just never know if that might be a collector's item someday or not. But yeah, thank you, Wayne. All right, so how about we do this? I think, because I know we all probably have some good stories to share. But how about we do this first, because we were talking a little bit about gameplay and playing one with the other. How about we lump events into like time management, like you were saying first, Joe? So like the events in general, are always usually pretty good. There's always a variety of stuff to figure out how to, build your army, how to play. What do you guys think about the overall events? And also, like, Joe, if you want to explain time management, and your thoughts on that as well.
Well, let's talk about the events. Let's ask everybody what was everyone's favorite event. I mean, obviously, Adam and Rowan, you guys only played like a couple events, not a lot of variation there. But even so, like, let's start with you guys. What event did you guys play, and did you enjoy it? And maybe talk about what armies you brought too.
So we played Delta General Wars and Heroscape Adventure. Those were the 2 events on Saturday.
Okay, well, that last one doesn't really matter. That's a whole different conversation.
Then we played Delta General Wars.
All right.
I brought oh goodness, what did I brought Pirates from Age of Annihilation because I thought it would be fun to, since we were at Gen Con before, and we would have, like, there wasn't a whole lot of overlap. So I was like, why not bring the Age of Annihilation kind of just to see how it does at ScapeCon for me. And then Rowan.
So I think, God, I'm trying to remember. I had Severus, Moriko, 2 sets of Abraham Archers, and the new AOA Shiori.
Okay. So was that that's you played Revna and Rowan played Ular.
Yes.
Okay. Well, even though I think Revna counted as Utgar at that point, but yes. Cool.
So it was now, a lot of fun. It was interesting.
Good. So let me ask you this about you, because I think the pirate army is very interesting, because it is brand spanking new. How did you feel about using the pirates? How did the flow of movement and attacking and their different abilities feel?
It felt fine. It didn't feel like a super competitive army, right? It felt like, especially when I was facing up against a plethora of common squads, right? Mm-hmm. And just being overwhelmed by some of that optimal gameplay. It didn't feel super super overpowered. It felt a little underwhelming, but I was I lost by less than I thought I would. So
if I remember this correctly, you did play Rowan as your very first game, correct?
I did. I was able to win that one. Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah. So I did win that one, so that was nice.
Okay. And Rowan, how about you? You have you ever played these other characters normally? Have you practiced with that army at all?
Practiced with that army specifically? No. Most of those characters, minus the AOA Shiori, I'm pretty well versed in them. I was just, I kind of just threw something together that looked like it would be fun. I play for what's going to be the most fun, not what's going to win. Playing the AOA Shiori, though, was like, she is a lot of fun. A lot more fun than I thought. Less complicated than I thought. I didn't win, if that's what you're asking.
No, I wasn't. I was just like, what was your experience with that army? And, because like my general next question was going to be, how many frenzies did you get? Because the army archers, none. You played 4 games.
Wow,
frenzy.
No frenzies. Oh,
I had 3 games because I had a bye, but through all 3 of my games, not a single frenzy. Thanks for bringing that back up, Joe.
All the years I've been to ScapeCon,
I don't remember asking you at
all.
ScapeCon, so. I mean, if I knew it hurt that bad, I would have never brought it up. I would have asked you better questions like, how many kills did Severus get? Because I think he's going to be the MVP. Was there an MVP in your games at all? I mean,
Admiral Jim. He was a tank, especially when I played him wrong.
Can't wait to play him.
Sure.
When you play him, he gets really good if you add a die for every pirate that's around the enemy. he gets really good. But
Nice.
then one person came up and was like, "That's not how you." It's like, "Oh, that isn't how you play him." Oops.
You gotta read them rules.
Unfortunately, my opponent was like, "It's fine." He had Agent Skahan and the Microcorps, so he was definitely handing it to me at that point.
Awesome. So let's go to Josiah. So what was, because you played multiple different events, so there's probably a little bit more to talk about here. What was one of your favorite events to play, and was that because of the event format or your army?
So three-headed Hydra probably meets the criteria for both of those. I really like the team element, the just working with Tails and my brother-in-law Zephin, just to kind of go against and try to kind of. There's a lot of like kind of brain, because you're in a team of three, you're fighting a team of three, and you get to choose matchups and maps based off die rolls, and you're kind of position on those die rolls. So there's a lot of really kind of strategy in play, and I really like the team element. I like that our team, we felt like none of us cared if we lost type of deal. There wasn't that like overbearing weight. We're just all gonna have fun type of deal.
Sure.
But I mean, I think we won a couple games, but it was just really fun. I ran nothing but I ran 5 squads, Granite Guardians, and 2 Wormlings. So that was really fun. Just that slow crawl across the board. I didn't even have the Warden to enhance their speed. I was just committed to the slow crawl. And most of the games, I was really close to winning with them.
Wow.
I just had some bad luck in these games. Like there was a round, a game I played against Q10, and I had like 2 squads of Granite Guardians left, and he had Q10 with height. And we went about 20 rounds back and forth, and neither of us could kill each other.
Oh my god.
Yep.
And then a single round later, I whiffed 3 times in a row on his Quaglux gun. So but literally I was like, roll 3, like we were just going back and forth, because it eventually came down to like 2 guys left of mine and his, but neither of us could break through. So it was crazy. Like we're like sweating and standing, like it's just like
all the rest of us were watching because we're like, okay, come on, finish up.
Yeah, like it was an immovable force against whatever the saying is, an object that
unstoppable object against a movable force.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yes.
And so that was, I mean, it was really fun just to be in that element, just to try. I printed out a bunch of these Granite Guardians for the event and painted them all up. Just because I don't own five squads of that as is. So it was just fun just to try that out. I really like the Diplomat as well. I won't talk about this much, but it was just a really unique format. It was pretty much just a bunch of commons is kind of what I realized, but it was a really fun. It was a really intense format because you get to start in the middle of the board with your unit, and you get to decide, do I want to start blasting the enemy or kind of have a position. And yeah, I had some fun matches there. I wasn't feeling too good, so I lost a lot more than I should have. I probably would have won. Like there was a couple games that people were like, "Why did you lose?" Like,
why did you lose?
I was running Romans, and you had like protectors. You had height, range, and you just kind of didn't use it. I was like, I don't really know. I don't. Both of you just be quiet.
I mean, great. I mean, to that point. You had said this is, your first in-person event, and playing online, I don't feel is the same correlation. Like playing online feels very calculated. It's very mathy, and I don't know. That's just how I feel. I don't know if you see the same way, but playing in person and being able to stand up and see different angles and being able to touch all the pieces. It's a whole different experience. And also, it's not just you and your opponent in the room. There is 68 more people in the room that are also playing, and so it's loud, and there's a lot of distraction.
It's amazing how focused you get though playing your game. You don't even pay attention to the noise going around you really. Except you're pretty. Except the one where me and Ben were, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but. Me and Ben were facing off against each other, and we had a quiet intensity, but right next to us was found Anton and George, and they were so loud. They were just like like a French guy against a lawyer. It's just like it's like crazy. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second.
Sure. Yeah, just for minor context, Ryan, because there are multiple Bens at ScapeCon. Which Ben are you talking about?
Oh yeah, there is MK plus Ultra.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's another thing too. Is names, and there's so many different common. There's a bunch of Ryans. There's a bunch of Bens. A bunch of Codys. I'm trying to think of if there's any other common names. Luckily, there's no multiples of Joes. Thank God. For right now.
Amazingly.
That's the one change I would have suggested is just name tags. I'm like, does anyone know where Ninja Mage is at Song of the Walrus? You know, it's just like
right, yeah.
That's the one I think.
A lot of us have our own logos, you know. So
Jacks, there's a lot of Jacks too. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, no, that's true. Name tags would be probably good, but guess because lanyards, yeah, that'd be kind of cool if they took the logo that's on the back of the ScapeCon IV shirt and put it in one of those things, and that was one of those door prizes. Yeah. That everyone got a lanyard, and then you could wear it every day, and has your name on it.
Username.
Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to catch up with the chat a second. So hello there, Don Predator. Hello there, Derek. How are you guys doing, Don Predator? Yeah, it's been a while, but it's good to see you. I think Don Predator's been traveling a bit. His young. I think he's just graduated high school or after graduating high school stuff. He's been traveling around. I think, just having fun with life. So it's good to see you, Don Predator. And yeah, I think let's see here. Don Predator was asking about the Granite Guardians. Oh, and Josiah did mention that he didn't play Warden with them. He was doing the slow movement,
the slow roll, yeah,
just the turtle army.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to catch up on the chat there.
Yeah. No, sure. So okay, yeah. So your favorite event was the three-headed Hydra. You took Granite Guardians. Was there any time? I guess we just kind of transition into the time management. Did you? I mean, I assume that you signed up for a lot of events, but was there any time where you felt like, okay? I mean, I know at some point you weren't feeling well. Did you ever just opt out from playing an event and just got some rest?
Yeah, I mean, I actually probably dropped out a couple of events just to rest or just kind of like I was going to do the General Wars. I dropped out of that one because I started not feeling very good once I was starting. And there was actually one I just didn't have time to run up to the hotel room because it was a 2:30 event. I think it was Delta Pod or something. It was some kind of weird a hard one to kind of get an army for. Mm-hmm. So like I just didn't have enough because I had a game that went to time. And then the next game kind of just started, and so I signed up for it, but I just didn't have an army prepped, kind of. So I just kind of dropped out of it and played Minecraft Dungeons with my family that was with there. So still a win.
Talking about formats, let's go back to Rowan and Adam for a second here, and even I'll ask you, Ryan. Mm-hmm. Is the formats themselves, I mean, going through the whole list of events, and, like I said, you always only played the, as of competitive events, you played the Delta General Wars. But did you guys ever look at the full list of events and look at goes and like, what is that? What does that mean? Were you guys ever confused about any of the events or how the formats would run?
Yeah, when I think it was lunch or breakfast, we sat down with Deisel, and we were kind of making a joke because I was sitting there and be like, everybody's talking about cheese, and if they just came in and nobody knew anything, why are all these people talking about cheese? It's like a cheese convention. And then we kind of went through kind of like, because there was Cut the Cake, Reverse Oil, Delta Pot, and I was like, man, we could just like put it all together, like Ultimate Delta General Wars, Cut the Cheesecake, Delta Pots.
Reverse Cut the Cheesecake, Delta Pots.
And Deisel actually went through. It was like, this is actually something we could do. Like, and actually went through as like, well, this is what this means, so we could do that, and then just like, it's like this.
Like they actually workshop this extremely extravagant event format. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and so we did, like you guys did a podcast going over some of the things, and we also were on Heroscape.org looking at the events.
Yeah, there's a great thing about Chris's website, Heroscape.org. On some of these events, there is information that you can just point and click, and then it'll give you details on what it's about. So very convenient.
Yeah. So we looked in them like in a cursory glance, but really we just wanted to find what was on Saturday. And there's only 5 or 6 events on Saturday. And I think when we decided to not do the morning event just because since we're traveling 3 hours, I didn't want like travel delays or me missing an alarm to mess up kind of getting there.
Right.
So yeah, we were very limited on the amount of events to pick from.
Yeah, and that's fine. And you know, talking about the management of it all, you know, like I'm happy you guys did that, because I think you guys had enough time to kind of soak in the whole environment. You guys came, you had the breakfast, and even though you were there for breakfast, I'm sure you could have played that first time, since you did guys get there pretty much on time. But even so, you know, you were able to walk around, meet some people. You guys got to record that one video with all the names. That was a lot of fun to rewatch, to watch for the first time. That was fantastic. But you know, you got to soak in the environment. You got to, you know, walk around, and you get that feel. And you know, even for myself, I mean, you guys can agree or disagree on me on this one. And you know, even for Rogue, you know, like you get this sense of family community. Like it doesn't feel like even meeting people for the first time, because that, for my first time experience in 22, I felt that. I felt like I was meeting people, and it was like, you know, trying to describe it like a family Christmas party. Like it was just like, it felt like I was just walking in and everyone was like, "Oh, hey, what's going on? How you doing? What is this?" You know, and you know, it felt like more of like a family than more like acquaintances, if that makes sense.
Yeah, on that front, right? Like I have pretty bad social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And never at any one point was I like, I need to leave, I need to go be somewhere else, because nobody made me feel like I didn't belong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, I think we sat down and immediately, oh gosh, I'm bad with names. It was Vidar43 and Brianna of Tarth sat down and was talking to us immediately about stuff, and Dysol came over and was just immediately talking to us like they've known us forever.
Sure.
And it was like, that environment was just wonderful, because we sat out for a little bit on one of the tables. Well, you know, Rogue was painting, talking to people, and they were no strangers. There were no strangers at this event, and that was just wonderful.
Now, even with that being said, you know, meeting people in person, have you interacted with a lot of people online through Discord or even through your comments?
I would say like we try and be as accessible as possible. We don't. So me personally, I use Discord as more of a direct messaging platform for things. I don't go into chats very often, like just the general chats very often. But I try and set aside a day for our YouTube channel where I go through and reply to comments and make sure that those are taken care of. So like it was really cool. Like people were like, "Yeah, we saw your channel. We like your stuff. Thanks for being here." So that was quite like personally like cool, like, and very appreciative of that.
Awesome. Oh, that's good.
It's a
Good.
really amazing thing to see, because I can think back some 10, 15 years ago when I was just like Tales of a Hell was just a concept in my head, and there was like literally no one. I mean, this is before like Sir Heroscape or myself or anybody, and you feel like you're alone. I mean, you had Heroscapers back then to where there was some community, but long story short, my old account ended up getting booted because I was trying to talk about creating a stop motion a Heroscape adventure, and for some reason it booted me. I'm good friends with the devs. Don't get me wrong. I'm good friends with the devs of the site, but it was probably an accident, and so I just like, okay, let me just do Tales of Valhalla on here, and instead of my old username, and it's been good ever since. But when getting that started, you can't foresee these types of things happening to where, okay, here I am, 5, 10, 15 years later, and here I am talking with you about getting together with you, and it's like, when you get started doing something, where is it going to go? You just don't know. You just got to put in the work. You got to put in that faith, that trust that things are going to end up, for the better, and a good result. So, yeah, on reflection, on retrospect, you appreciate that a lot. So,
For sure. I mean, well, I'll ask you, Ryan, because I know you went to ScapeCon 3, so this question could appeal to either both then and now. Talking about the uprising of our channels a little bit, and since you came together to make the ToV podcast after 22, it's ScapeCon 2.
Oh, that's crazy.
Going to ScapeCon 3 and now ScapeCon 4, has there been any new people that came up to you and was like, hey, I started watching you because of the podcast? Or is anyone that you engaged with in comments that you met for the very first time, either at 3 or 4?
Well, I mean, we were first at 2, and I know...
Well, but we didn't have the podcast then, though. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I think I've had more people mention about the stop motion animations I've done.
Okay.
Some of the podcast stuff. I know there was a few people this year that would say, yeah, I listened to your podcast, and you need to get it on like this particular platform instead of just Spotify. I'm like, I know, I'm working on it. I apologize. So no, I think it's growing, and yeah, building audience, and again, you understand we're trying to create like content in a niche within a niche, basically. Sure. So you're not expecting too much, but it's fun to meet people and converse with them on whatever capacity or how many. I mean, if I get nobody talking to me, I mean, that's fine. But yeah, you do get your comments sometimes from people,
Yeah, because
like
I said, I only bring that up because even though we are still, even till now, a very small community, but it is slowly growing. Mm-hmm. And like I said, with the uprise of the podcast, you're touching, a different audience now. Yeah. You're bringing in more competitive players. You're becoming, those competitive players are becoming more interested in the lore as well because of the podcast, because we are talking about possibilities of what Valhalla is really like, and what the story in the future, all that. And we're talking about different topics. So I was just really curious to see, or even hear about, different experiences because of the podcast and the benefits that it has brought to the community on bringing everyone together, especially having so many guests, even with the bringing in Josiah and Adam and Rowan, for today. So I am very glad that people are still reaching out to you and saying, hey, the stop motion the show is like fantastic. It's great. And you had sent me something the other day that you're working on, so you're still working on things. Maybe not exactly the next season, but you still are doing a lot of stop motion, and you still have a lot of stuff that you are working on, which is always super exciting. But I was just so curious to see if there was a new audience and new people coming up to you because of the podcast, since that was essentially born from us going to ScapeCon 2.
The target audience for the ToV podcast, I believe, or who I'm trying to reach for, is people who aren't exactly hardcore Heroscape. I mean, there is a place for that, but if you're a hardcore Heroscaper, you're going to Casters of Valhalla, because they know way more than we do. We're more of like, okay, you're just getting started, getting into Heroscape, or maybe you played Heroscape when you were younger, and now you need to get into it again. Well, here's a good refresher. Here's a way to find out more about the story, about the miniatures from maybe an average person's perspective, because I consider myself just an average player. I used to be below average. Now at this last ScapeCon, I think I'm like kind of at average, maybe, possibly. So, I mean, I think that's where the target audience is really what I'm aiming for. So now that, and newsflash, it all got sold out via Renegade website. All of Heroscape got sold out. How about that? So there will be more people looking out for bits of information, and hopefully this podcast will keep on growing with people wanting to learn more, investigate more, and just getting started. And then eventually, when they know a lot more, point them towards Casters of Valhalla to get the real meat of everything. So it's glad to be able to fill that void, for that.
Absolutely. So let's move to Josiah real quick, or it can be as long as he wants it to be. But anyway, you got a lot of publicity at ScapeCon 4 because you helped stream every single game except one. Every single game for all the tournaments, whatever was, I guess, played at the table. So how about you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
how was that experience?
I mean, that was really fun to set it up. I'm glad I didn't have to, be the commentator like that. That's my ideal scenario, is to do background work and never show up on screen. That's that's what I love the most. But I have a kind of a background in that kind of stuff. I went to school for it, and then I kind of had a business during the pandemic where I would do like live stream stuff. That's why I have all the equipment I had now. I just kind of love that aspect of it. I saw last year's stream, and it needed some work. They were doing the best they could, but I kind of saw the comments of people, and they, I wanted to reduce people's FOMO for people, because it's a lot of work.
Was there a lot of negative comments of like, oh, I couldn't see this or I couldn't see that?
Not like negative, but more just not like negative, but just like people really interested, but like imagine you're watching like an unboxing or something and the camera's out of focus the whole time. You're like, oh, could you?
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay,
yeah. We want it, like, we're really excited for this. We can't be there, but the presentation is hampering the output type of deal.
Sure.
They're like, oh, what just happened that round, and they have to like squint their eyes at the skipping footage to see what it's just kind of not a flow. So I didn't watch most of the streams because I was playing. But I kind of try to tune in on matches I wasn't, just to make sure everything was going on. But it was really, it was a little bit intense when I first got there, because we just got held up, and just our schedule, we could only really make it right when Three-Headed Hydra was starting. So I'm like rushing, having the HDMI cords, running it from the one side of the room to the next, and taping things down. I'm like, don't trip on this. There's a pile of cords here. Please don't step on this. But I love doing that kind of stuff. That's like from kind of like, I did some documentary work and some other kind of stuff like that. So it's just kind of, honestly, like, two things I love are helping people in video production. So to be able to kind of tap into that aspect of my interest was just a really fulfilling part of it. I'm not like looking for predator crops or anything like that. It was just, I'm just glad that it all worked out, because I've never been to ScapeCon, and I'm just like messaging the people like, what's the length of the room? I'm glad I just asked a lot of questions, because I was like, what's the length of the room? They're like 75 feet. I was like, HDMI's cut out after 50 feet, so we need to get some fiber optics. We need to, what's our, I'm glad I was like, what's our plugin like? They're like, oh, we probably should get some extension cords. I'm like, yeah, because, So just all the little details. Next year will probably be even better. We'll
Sure.
be able to get some overlays and mics and.
We have a committed man here now.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive because for anyone at home watching this and not fully understanding what's happening or had happened at ScapeCon, something magical absolutely happened because some of the biggest and brightest worked on this live stream for ScapeCon. And we just heard from Josiah talking about him setting up his cameras and the fiber optics that he had to, I assume, purchase for this. So, huge thanks to him. But we also had Taylor, 10 points under, one of the best commenters in this community. And we also had Emery48 providing I think his laptop and they were streaming on his Twitch platform. So there was 3 people working, 3 of Heroscapers, YouTube's finest, working on this production, which is fantastic. I think that's so awesome that we were able to come together and get this done. And I gotta say, because I walked over to the booth to sit with 10 Points Under multiple times, and it was impressive to look at. It was really neat. Being able to hit, he was just managing on the computer, typing in either I think all the character names and their stats, so that so that people could understand and see who is playing who, if by chance they couldn't see the cards. And speaking of cards and the dice box, this was so fun. They even put down masking tape and labeled off where if you sat at that table to be filmed or streamed, you had you had a camera for the dice box, which was awesome, and you had a tape for where, if by chance the dice boxes were kind of floating off screen a little bit, you could just kind of tap them in to the zone of the masking tape, which was awesome. And then the dice they were using were, I think, no matter what, I think I don't know if that was only for the tournament game, for all the games, but I think they had dice at the table.
But they were giant dice. They were big dice that we used.
They were big dice, yeah. So it was so much easier to see, yeah. Which was awesome.
It was almost like a mini production, because you had your marks you had to hit, you had your props you had to bring. It was I really liked that little aspect. There was a whole group chat think tank that was kind of oh, what about this? I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. It was just very collaborative, and I liked everyone involved did a really great job.
I felt like I was in broadcasting school again.
Yeah, it was so magical to witness all of that. So question down here from Justin. Sup, Justin? He says, if you could only make it to one event, would you choose Gen Con or ScapeCon?
Let's ask those who actually been to Gen Con and both ScapeCon. What do you, Hexala, Adam Rowan, what do you guys think?
Well, so kind of an unfortunate fact about ScapeCon, and I would love to hear your guys' thought, is you're capped right now at 76 people, 80 people, I think is the cap. So if you're not quick on those tickets, and kind of the cool thing about ScapeCon is that community is close and it's small. And what convention do you go to, you can get community meals basically with everybody to eat with. So if you really love the community and being the small event, for at least right now, because a part of me wants to see it grow to be really big, but I know that if it grows, you probably lose a little bit of that kind of community small feel of the event. So if you can go to ScapeCon, at least while it's small, I think it's a really unique experience that you won't be able to get anywhere else. But for just kind of Gen Con is more accessible, I feel. But it's more game and release focused. So less community, more, hey, let's just Heroscape. Which is kind of weird to say. Right?
I was way less stressed out at ScapeCon than I was at Gen Con. And I had way more fun at ScapeCon than I did at Gen Con.
And I
Much
was
less
So-
worse than what you said.
yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
So to get different answers, though, Adam, Gen Con, ScapeCon, which one are you choosing?
ScapeCon, because just because
Okay.
I think it's an experience that you can't really get, right? It's a community. It's a grass-fed thing. It's so yeah, ScapeCon.
Sure. Rowan, Gen Con, ScapeCon.
I already said ScapeCon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
Josiah, Gen Con, ScapeCon.
So I've always wanted to get a Gen Con just because I love, more board games besides Heroscape. But then I saw the picture of all the people there someone posted, and that looks like a nightmare. As someone who was struggling with a room full of 70 people, socially, I might just try to I honestly would like to go to Gen Con if I was like a worker, like running like a Heroscape booth, like teaching people how to play, or some kind of like role I could be doing things, but just wandering around aimlessly with thousands of people sounds like a nightmare to me. But I want to go for the world. Like now that Scape is actually there, it's like a toss up. I only had room in the budget and time for one.
Sure.
I'm glad I went to ScapeCon. I think it was a more centralized, focused experience. I do want to meet like the Renegade staff and just I want to go to ScapeCon for like an hour and then go home.
Right.
I mean, to Gen Con for like an hour and then go home. But
Yeah.
it just seems a bit more involved. But I still would like to go someday. It's on my bucket list.
Takes like an hour to get in.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Yeah.
Gen Con, ScapeCon.
Well, since I had experiences in both this year, I would. I mean, I'll give away the answer and then I'll explain a little bit. I'd definitely say ScapeCon. I would go in an instant, in a heartbeat. Even like when they were announcing, because they just announced ScapeCon East just I think today or yesterday.
Yep.
And I'm just like, part of me is thinking, should I? No, I can't. And then ended up getting sold out anyway within like a few minutes of them announcing it anyway. But so, question answered.
Yeah,
But-
because that one's definitely a lot
Yeah,
smaller.
it is.
And
More
I think
regional.
the cap is about 30 people.
Yeah, it's regional. So
But
that's
it
fine.
is really interesting for you to hear that you would be like, oh, actually considering that coming out to Jersey to play
I
Skate.
gotta, I mean, it might not be in the cards like at this present time because I got a lot of work.
Sure.
I have a family to raise, and
Of course.
my time is like just branching out everywhere. But I know eventually there's got to be tours eventually, sometime down the line to where I just
Yeah.
start going out and meeting people.
I mean, there is the Louisville group.
Right. And even that
always just-
takes like 2-3 hours actually from where I'm at. So it's
I
not
mean, it has to be a lot closer than Jersey, though.
yes, this is true.
So
But no, I'll
Just
say
get up at
this.
4 a.m.
I'll say this as a
yeah,
person
stay for it. Yeah.
who myself, I'm very antisocial. If you'd only have known me like 20-25 years ago as a teen, I was you could barely get me to speak. Which I might talk about that whenever Josiah invites me on his channel sometime. But
Wow, the shade.
Nod. But no, I'll say this. I mean, I don't like a lot of crowds, but at the same time, I've developed a lot mentally to where I'm actually I can be quite comfortable in the crowd. So Gen Con wasn't big negative on me. I enjoyed myself. I had some very fulfilling moments, which I talked about last week. So it was great, and I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice whether or not if I'm going to pick and choose next year. I don't think I'm going to have much choice. I think there are going to be people say you're going. We're going to make you. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, ScapeCon, it's just you walk in a room and then you have some people just it's like, how's it going, Ryan? How's it going, Tails? And it feels just like you guys said, it feels like family.
Yeah.
And
it's just
respect,
Go ahead.
you know. So
yeah. I mean, which is crazy because I mean, for a majority of us, I think all of us, we're still kind of the new people in the block. A huge chunk of the people that go to ScapeCon have already been friends with each other for 5+ years, or more. And they've been going to Gen Con for a long time, and they, talk with each other online all the time, and they do all these tournaments online. And we're walking in, barefooted on nails, and we're realizing these ain't nails; these are feathers. So, so we're slipping and sliding around, saying hi and high fiving everybody, and I think that's cool. I mean, it's a really, really awesome experience. So yeah, Justin, it's ScapeCon. Come to ScapeCon if you can.
yeah, seriously, Justin.
And
like a lot of
yeah, go ahead.
a lot of my audience, because that was one cool thing, like you were saying, Joe. There are some people who are just like, oh yeah, I listened to your podcast. Oh yeah, because of you mentioning ScapeCon, that's why I'm here. And I'm like, that's cool. That's
super cool.
That is so cool. So no, we need more of you to like try and sign up. Again, Mike doesn't bite. OEAO.
Nope.
Communicate with him, and like it's like when Hexala. I mean, they weren't sure if they were going to be able to come, and just keep on talking to him. Just keep on talking to him. And then when they got in, it's like, yes. You just never know when it's going to happen. So, yeah, just don't give up on that. For those of you, because I know it's like, first come, first serve. Those who have been before, it's easier for you to get in. But don't give up on at least, try and at least find a day pass or something, because those can open up. Don't give up on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, just to reiterate, I am not saying I will never go to Gen Con. I would love to go to Gen Con. I think if I had went, or at least my perception of watching Sir Heroscape's little tidbits and talking to Ryan about Gen Con, I think I'm almost kind of jealous of them of going and seeing over 100 people playing in an event. Yeah, it probably was chaos, but I think seeing that so many people play is just phenomenal. Like, that is so cool. Seeing that walking in and from Adam, from Hexala's video, seeing the giant banner coming down the escalators, and you go, wow.
Yeah,
I'm living through an age of that. Like, because I was too young to experience this kind of stuff at Gen Con when Heroscape first got revealed. So being able to possibly, let's say if I go to a Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, if they show up, because I think if I'm aware of that, I think I might try to go and see it live there if they do show up there. Because I know they did that for the HasLab campaign. They had went to New York Comic-Con. But I just didn't get a chance because I had no idea they were going. But yeah, no, I think it's so. I would love to go, love to go, and especially meet people that are actually currently working on the game. That is really neat. I don't think I've ever been able to do that with anything. And the fact that not that I've.
I mean, they asked about some of y'all too. Like when I talked to Lee, when I talked to like Ben Dadscapers, like where's Joe?
I miss Ben. I know it's gonna stink too, because I on the 14th of September, both the Mars group and the Massachusetts group are running events the same day. I hate when you guys do that. I hate it because I have to choose. And I would love to go to College Park and go see Dadscaper and all those guys. But I feel like I have to go see the Mass group because this is a new store. This is the second time. I also know the group is a little bit smaller. And the Mars group, they got like 15 plus guys. They show up. They have a great time. Like, I know, like, they don't need an extra player. And I think I need to go support the Massachusetts guys and go check out the new store, since the previous store had sadly closed down because they just couldn't deal with, rent and all that. Just I hate seeing it. I hate seeing it because it was a really nice store. But yeah, I have to go see the Mask guys. But
I would do.
But yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I do want to give a
I'm
shout
glad Lev
out
was asking about me.
to Dom Predator real quick. So he says, I have been and started a HeroScape tournament in New Mexico. We just got 9 people on our second event.
Wow.
And yeah, so that is great, Dom Predator. Keep on going. I think these are starting to spring up more. So yeah, keep at it. Justin saying, I met Lee at Minnesota event back in July. She was very friendly and approachable. Yes, she is. She's very nice.
Oh wow.
She's very nice.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay. Now, but let's go back. I know we were talking about Gen Con a little bit and mix, but let's get back to ScapeCon.
Let's go back to the meat and potatoes of this thing.
To kind of to segue back into it. Renegade was involved a little bit with ScapeCon because they supplied us with a lot of stuff, and that type of goodwill I think is something that the community needed a lot, and so we were supplied with some of us with shirts. Some of us with Shioris, like all of us got a Shiori, which was great. There it is. There it is. Yeah. So and then a ton of
board games like Axis and Allies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and a
prize
ton of
table
prize
stuff.
table.
That was
and
awesome.
And then a bunch of terrain for communities to take home and use for tournament events. And it didn't even have to be Renegade, like online, Renegade's HeroScape portal events. It just for whatever events you plan. Just here's terrain to use. So that was great.
Myself a HeroScape pin.
Oh, you finally got
HeroScape pin.
one.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, the one that they gave out at Gen Con in 22 or 23? No, it was 22, right? Was that silver?
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah, I think.
Was that silver?
Let me get mine out here. Hold on a second. I have mine close by. I just need to.
Because not to be super jealous or anything, I do really like the silver more than the gold and purple, but I do like this one just as much. But I was just curious if I remember if I just was like having a mismemory of that or not. That one was like silver and black.
Well, I don't know. I seem to have misplaced mine because usually it's in this.
How dare you!
Oh no,
There was never any pens.
It's around,
in
but
Boxing Day to begin with. So
my desk. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Well, what was that, Rogue?
I'm just ignore me. If I say something you can't understand it, it's because I'm making a vague reference or just talking to myself.
There's mine, Joe.
Well, your words are important to me.
It should be. That's the, I just make things up.
So is that silver or gold?
Looks silver-ish, right?
It's hard to tell. It looks gold to me because of the lighting.
I think it looks more silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Shurig is here.
Hey.
Bud.
Sure, I thought I told you never to come around here no more.
Get out.
After that one match, we're done.
Oh boy.
This is the reason we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
My last game at ScapeCon was on Crumbling Castle, and it was amazing. I loved it. Ladders and all.
Let's actually talk about that real quick. The maps, the map pool, everybody's favorite map. She's like, I'm gone.
Anything with a road on it, basically.
I can see where I'm unwanted.
I think my least favorite was the whatever the swamp one was. The
Color Sunrise.
I think so. I mean, that just had a lot of swamp water. Yeah, I mean, I lost on that.
Bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad map for how I play.
Yeah.
Which is big. Bulky,
Well, it's also an older map if I'm familiar. Someone in the future comments can tell me otherwise. I think it's an older Gen Con map.
Jack says,
that was a kind of like a fan favorite that people like bringing around every so often, and I get why it's a good map. It's a very pretty map, and but the start zones, I just don't like the start zones. I have no problem with it being the way it's split. I think it's what is it? I always get these confused, vertically or horizontally mirrored. I believe it's horizontally mirrored, but I have no problem with that. But it's also a map with Wannick on it.
Yeah,
which I don't like.
Anything with Wannick. Yep.
Not a fan of Takala Sunrise. It's really easy for range to dominate that map. Like,
Yeah.
it's early in the game. You just I've played on that a couple times. Just once again, that little 3 hex close to that starting zone. They just if you don't have a good counter range option, you're just out of luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crumbling Castle is really fun. I like seeing some ladders. What was that lava map called?
Oh my god, that was
a
my
fun
favorite too.
bottleneck, yeah.
Induction, I think it was.
yeah.
That was a really good one.
Me and Josiah faced
not
up on that one.
not abduction.
That was a fun game.
Oh, I have to look that up. Give me 1 second. I will find it.
I think it's Subduction. I think so.
Subduction, yes.
Subduction.
Subduction, yeah.
It's a hot map.
It is a hot map.
And-
I love that map.
and-
I'm generally really looking forward to building that at home and playing on it. It was really fun. Really
It's
fun.
one of
And
the ones I
think,
built and tested on too. A couple months
Oh,
ago,
yeah?
so,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. And I don't think it has anything to do with that was the very first map I played on. And I also had a very long mirror match with dividers versus dividers on that match.
I saw that match. That was a war of attrition right there.
Yeah, it was.
It's like 2 500-point armies just of nothing but dividers going back and forth.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
There was the other map too with I'm half looking at it right now. It's the one with the Marvel walls on it. I forget which one that is.
At Alta, yeah, that was a
Alta.
good one.
Yeah, I like that.
That one I have played on before. I like that.
I
one a
never
lot.
played a match on that map. I kept on wanting to just because of the Marvel terrain, but I never got on it.
Yeah, I do really like that. I think every single biome was represented.
Mhm.
You had your swamp, you had your snow, you had lava, you had road, you had forest, you had
Shadow.
jungle.
Not a lot of dungeon maps this time.
Yeah.
Not a lot, exactly. Yeah, the one that I think was one of my favorites. Oh my god, it'll come to me. But there is one that I played at 22 that I really enjoyed. I think Ryan, you and I played on that one.
Yeah.
It had the ruined oh my god, the battlements. It had the battlements around. It was all dungeon, had shadow on it.
Yeah.
I really liked that one.
Yeah, I know that.
But yeah, no,
was
that wasn't really represented.
Okay, and then maps. How about the food? How about we talk about the food in a second?
The food.
Yeah, let's talk
It was
about the
good.
food.
Hey, I am a sucker for refreshment. Like that is you can get me to go to watch your PowerPoint, whatever. As long as there's food, I am there. Right. So when I saw that they had meal tickets, I'm like, is the food good? And I was told, yeah, the food's good. I was like, I'm there. Yes. Like I get 3 meals a day. Yeah, I'm there. And it was good food. Like I don't know what the other days were. I can only speak on Saturday, and our video has a full review of the 3 meals. So if you're as into food as I am, go and check it out.
Yeah, it was a good one.
But I like the mac and cheese. Rowan was not a fan of the mac and cheese.
Mhm.
But I like the mac and cheese. That was lunch. And dinner, man, the fish, the salmon. Oh
That
man,
was really good.
it was really good. And especially on a bed of rice. Ryan, why did you do this? Like every time I'm here, the podcast evolves into food.
I think anytime
Here
we're
we
talking
are.
to you guys, it involves food. See, I'm trying my best not to talk about
That's
food
fair.
too much. It's just,
Yeah,
we're
it's like-
just mentioning really quickly what the food's like. I mean, and everybody talks about the food too. It's not that it's the variety too, and then it tastes good. So there's something for everybody.
I didn't buy the
I think
meal
my favorite.
ticket. Oh, what were you saying, Ron?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think my favorite conversation about the food was Joe visited us before ScapeCon, on his way, and him and Adam were talking about the food, and Joe's like, "It's good food, it's good food," and I said, "Is it hotel food?" And he goes, "It's good food."
It's actually the best hotel food that I've had. I don't know if
I
it's
spent a
because
lot of my life in hotels, and it was very, very good hotel food.
yeah,
So.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it is. It is.
So-
even the restaurant's pretty good too. Had a veggie burger there for them. That was good.
So I was right. It was good food.
And
Probably
Joe,
better than what I was eating all week.
And
I
Joe,
didn't have a meal ticket, so I was eating salami out of the mini fridge all week.
oh, yeah, I didn't do the breakfast. I just had like peanut butter, and tortillas in the morning. Eating light is better for me in the morning with my like medical stuff. So, yeah. Even though the breakfast, anytime I pass by the breakfast, I'm just like, regretting this decision. I'm regretting this decision.
No, we don't. James says in the chat, we need a dedicated foodscape channel. No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Let's see. You could have it all has to be hex shaped though.
Unless
hex-shaped noodles. And...
Okay, maybe. But like, no, unless they do a weekly video about mixed drinks or cocktails that are Heroscape related. And having because I think we've talked, Rowan or Adam and I have talked about that in their chat one time, talking about having the fire line special attack, and it's just fireballs. It's like a row of 5 or 6 fireballs you got to shot down.
I mean, we already have to call a sunrise, so we're good there.
Yeah. Yeah. If anything, that's to me, it's the cocktails that are more interesting to create, for Heroscape related stuff.
Hold on a second.
Wait, what are you showing us?
I'm just going to bring up because we're talking about
the
food,
pictures.
but I want to talk about the other food. Where did we go, Joe?
Oh man. I'm shocked that you're bringing this up right now. This is awesome. So, in 22, my friends Glenn and Michaela, they were like, "Hey, I know you're gonna play Skate for 5 days straight, but we need to take you out of this. We need to take you out of this environment just for a little bit." And then we went, okay. So we had went out to a restaurant in the city, Indianapolis city. It was called the Eagle's Nest, and it is inside a skyscraper, and it rotates. It's a very fancy restaurant. You gotta get dressed up for it. I think I was out dressed on this one. Ryan had to show me up. But it is the best food I've ever had. Period.
Yeah, it was really good stuff. Thank you, Joe, for taking me out.
You're very, very welcome. I will do it every time. It is now a tradition. I need to go to that restaurant every time I go visit the city.
I would agree. I think they're gonna get more business. Wait, and it was called the Eagle's Nest, right?
The Eagle's Nest,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting how to get in there because there's really no sign. You just got to know where to go, and take an elevator up all the way to the top. And do not leave your cell phone on the edge of the thing here. Do not, because it'll fall and then you never see it again. Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, you are. I mean, look, some people may not be like, oh, I can't do that. But, it is so cool to be like the entire time you're eating, your environment around you is changing, and you get to see every part of the city as you're eating the most eloquent and delicious food.
So good.
Just to go through my meal, I mean, at this picture, I had gotten the filet mignon, and I got some potatoes, and I had asked for Brussels sprouts instead of asparagus because I hate what asparagus does, and we had some little bread. I also had gotten French onion soup, which it's my very favorite soup of all, is the French onion soup, and they made the best French onion soup, and I've had French onion soup from almost every restaurant I ever go to. If I can get it there, regardless of the time and temperature of what an outside environment is, I'm getting that soup. And then I also gotten jumbo shrimp with horseradish sauce, and it's fantastic. So I highly, 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 highly recommend it. Going there.
Yeah. It's even great for vegetarians too, because what did I get? I got the brie, and it was like
that
brie
was really good.
Oh my god, that tastes
I might
so
get
good.
that next time.
Yeah, that was oh my gosh, to where it's just it just melted and oozed out, and then you have this bread, and it came with fruit, and you could transform your palate to where it's you'd just have the cheese and the bread, then you have the cheese and the bread and the fruit. It was like a ratatouille moment, just your brain just explodes. from it. It was lovely. And then what was then there was like a noodle thing, and it had like and the waiter had to tell me it's like you have to mix it up because there's like a sauce underneath that's like kind of like a little spicy, like ginger spice. So it had a little bit of heat to it when you mix it up, and that was just very nice. Actually, and I'd say I give it a minus point because they had like a macaroni and cheese as a side. So I'm like, it was like truffle.
Was it a truffle?
Like, yeah, truffle macaroni and cheese. So I'm like, okay, I'll give this a try. It actually was maybe not that great. I think that was the least one on the menu that I thought, I'm just going to try this, just have it. And it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good. And it did have truffles, but I've had different type of truffle, like truffle cheese before. And it was like, there's like a lot of flavor. There wasn't a lot of flavor in this, at least not a lot of truffle flavor in it. They were like just kind of shaved on top. So that's my only minor complaint. But besides that, it's like everything that just was stellar there. Yeah.
I really regret
I'm
not
so
eating
hungry.
dinner tonight. Yeah, this is terrible. This is
So hungry.
Anyway, we're still talking about food. Okay, let's move on. Here, let me just share a couple of photos here because I know. Let's see here. We're already way over time, but that's okay. Let's see here. Because we need to talk about. Oh yeah, let's talk about Heroscape Adventure because we did do that. Yeah, let me bring this up. Okay, so we'll talk about first adventure here with myself. Got Cody, we got Josiah, Joe there, and then Josiah, correct me if I'm wrong, that's your sister and your brother-in-law there.
Yep.
And so we had a fun time. I think we're mostly making wood jokes most of the time because Silvarus couldn't stop shooting his arrows at everything in sight, moving or unmoving. So, and I don't want to give too much away because I know that was recorded. But that was that was a blast. Anytime there's going to be Heroscape Adventure, I'm definitely gonna want to do it again. Probably same character too.
and just to reiterate too, because I'm going to reach out to Mike this week about Heroscape Adventure coming to ScapeCon East, because I realized I'm like, oh wait, ScapeCon East, awesome, cool. Oh wait, I can do Heroscape Adventure again. Let's go. So I'm going to be reaching out to him, and I'm going to be posting another 3 options and have the community vote on which one we'll do next. It'll be some repeats, not repeats in the fact that ones that we have not done yet, some ideas we have not done yet, and then I'm come up with some new ideas. But yeah, let's talk about the adventure a bit and your experiences with it, because even though Josiah had not played it, but he was there graciously
oh my goodness, on his
helping
feet
me
for like
film
4
the
hours.
entire thing.
Yeah.
Which is definitely the longest Heroscape Adventure I've ever run.
My
Sorry.
main role was being like the guy in the Muppets, Statler Waldorf, just kind of joking about everyone and everything. That was really the highlight of it for me. Just
yeah.
Yeah, no. I cannot thank him enough for helping and enduring through that. It is an endurance test for sure. But because also Ryan played a very different game than what Rowan and Adam experienced. Same adventure, very different experience, and that is the magic of course Heroscape in general, but Heroscape Adventure, because they all have the same objective, they all get the same somewhat basic ideals of what the story is being told, but because you are in control of the environment and what you do in it, certain things don't happen for other people, and because of what you do, some things will never happen, or some things change, or it's all these different things. So Ryan, let's start with you, because you're obviously on the screen right now.
Yes.
I don't know if you still I don't know if you have the picture up or not still.
It's kind of there small, but yeah.
Okay. So talk about your experience and how you enjoy? Because this was your first time
Right.
playing the adventure.
Right, and the only this type of D&D style type gameplay I've only done once, and that was playing Pathfinder, to where my character was kind of crazy insane as well. I would make crazy insane decisions, although it was more I was more like a thief than anything. So I did thieving things. I was like trying to get all the treasure. But anyway, I digress. Without wanting to give too much away, my character involved was Sylvaris. And it wasn't your main Heroscape Sylvaris. It was Tales of Valhalla Sylvaris. And I did the voice as best as I could, and the character, and oh my gosh, I had so much fun with that. It actually inspired me to think, could I do like a side animated series like called Adventures of Sylvaris, and then just have his character just get into
you were hamming it up in the best way, Ryan. I loved it.
It was so, because it's been a few years. Well, I mean, okay, it's been nearly 10 years since I've done like voice acting for seasons 2 and 3, and it's been like 5 years since I stopped animating and doing like redos of whatever voices I needed to do for the characters in ToV. It's been a while since I've gotten into character, and it was, I mean, Sylvaris is just obviously the one that I voice, and I can't do it too much because there's people sleeping in my house right now, but he's basically an anti-Legolas. That's how I perceive him. And so he's very high-pitched, whiny, very annoying character. He's not a character that you really want to be around, although you want to Bruton for him, just because, you know, he's got a fighting spirit of a heart, and that gets him into very bad situations a lot of the time. But you know, his heart's in the right place, you know. So very, very bold fellow. So. And let's just put it that way. He didn't end up getting with much, except for a good amount of pride, you know, near the end.
Oh, he got into some shenanigans. He got some real crazy shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. You know,
and it's so funny because like I almost wish Cody was here to talk about it. Yeah. To agree.
Bless you, Cody.
You know, but you know, even with Josiah being there, like, you know, do you remember like all the different things that Severus got into, like and I will say this is not spoiling of the video or the adventure, but just saying like all the arrows that went through. Do you remember what Cody's character's name was? I don't remember. The Mad Max character, Motley Max. I don't know how many arrows went through his legs.
Instead of using a lockpick, Sylvaris felt that the best way to open a chest is by shooting an arrow straight into
from like half the distance of the
keyhole, Robin Hood style. To varying degrees of success. So
I'm not going to say everything that Severus was trying to shoot. You know.
Yeah, I mean that was so funny. I mean, and this wasn't just because. I mean, look, there was so many different scenarios where Motley Max would be placed in a certain position, and Ryan would position Severus, and he would be like, "All right, well, I have to look through Motley Max's legs here to make this shot." I'm like, "All right, go ahead," like. And it was just I don't know, happened so many different times. But yeah, you guys had a really good adventure. But I think because I had run that with you guys, and I learned a little bit more about how to run this adventure. Let's go to Adam and Rowan and talk about their experience, because I think it was the most polished and not. Like I said, I'm so glad I got to run it once before you, Ryan, with my friends. But because I ran it twice, I was able to polish some things out. So let's talk about Adam and Rowan. What characters did you guys take again? I know was it Marku
and Adam had Marku.
Yes. Perfect. It was such a good thing. As soon as you guys had pitched that idea to me, I was like, I'm sold. This is genius.
It was a lot of fun. I do have a little bone to pick.
Sure.
And this doesn't spoil anything either. Is I tried seducing a bee. I tried turning a bee into a familiar. I tried petting a spring runner to get it as a pet. And what you refuse to let me have a familiar and a pet. But Rowan rolls like one die and gets a freaking familiar.
It is not my fault that he likes me more.
I was trying so hard to have a friend, and you would not let me have it.
Seducing a bee is not getting a friend.
No, it is not. You cannot just seduce. I mean, look, if
It
the
wasn't meant to
queen,
be.
if the queen possibly could have happened and came out, maybe you could seduce the queen. But you guys didn't do what you needed to for the queen to appear. But yeah, no, I also felt it was funny that, like, because, you know, Mark, who is, like, you know, the ugly younger older brother, I don't know what the full story is. He is the one that was, I mean, he's just formed, like, that's his whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, man, I know it would never happen. I know it will never happen. But boy, oh boy, could we get a prequel Marku that before he got deformed? How amazing could that be?
Might not be canon, but
you know, it wouldn't. But
It could be the curse is broken.
The Wellspring heals him.
Yes.
Follows Revna. Revna decided to heal Marku, but Marku only, like, new Marku only comes on if a vampire lord is destroyed.
Oh, interesting. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Renegade, listen up, guys. So yeah, no, I thought because of that kind of plot point, I was like, oh, this can't happen. This can't. It's bad. I think if he just thematically, it would be so much funnier for him to keep failing. But I'm so glad you kept trying. That was my favorite part. You kept trying, and like I said, I didn't do it on purpose, but the roles were not working out. Okay.
That's fair. I also felt like we got the benefit of you seeing Ryan's like just shenanigans, and you kind of was like, no, I don't want to see, like, I don't want to see this again, because we were like just do the thing, because I feel like Ryan and I are like, I kind of have this bad habit of being the protagonist in role-playing games, not necessarily the main character, but the person that's like, okay, well, here's the thing to drive the story forward. So let's kind of do what we can to, like, punch things and, like, and so I feel like, you know, making the things blow up was not, you didn't want to do that twice in a row.
Sure. But but you guys weren't like, I mean, you did jump on top of the ship and
Yeah, I was trying real hard.
You were trying to really,
I was like coming in and out of the game because I was thinking, okay, when is something going to blow up? I'm not going to mention what's going to blow up, but when is something going to blow up? It's like, you haven't blown it up yet. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, and I gotta say, the one thing I do wish that, because of Ryan's fault, you guys did not, and when I say you guys, I'm sorry, Ryan's group did not experience an entire section of the game that I honestly, this is honest truth, I made up on the fly because I never thought this would happen. Was that Adamant and Rowan's group got to go inside. They walked through it.
What a concept.
They were able to grab things from that location. Okay? But because of you, Ryan, exploding things and everything got spread across the map, that never happened.
Well, it ended up, again, I don't want to give too much away, but it ended up, like, screwing me in the end, basically. So
it really did, actually. But that's once the magic, right? That is the magic of the Heroscape adventure, is because you guys both had the same storyline and things and map, but because of what your actions were, they impacted the story.
It's good that there's that much
because of those two
variety,
adventures, I will never forget those moments. Those were such great moments. I mean, especially, like I said, the Marku and Cyprin combo was fantastic, because on multiple occasions rolling for Eternal Hatred did happen, and I was able to control Marku multiple times, which was chef's kiss. And because not only because I could do it, it was the idea of like, oh shit, what do I do?
Yeah,
What do I do
you
with
were
this?
very kind.
Yeah,
Like,
like
you
what am I
didn't do
supposed to
anything
really do with this? I because I always saw Eternal Hatred as like him going crazy, and it's like, what would a crazy vampire do? Like,
Did he
oh, I'm
shoot
gonna throw.
Can't.
Now I do regret it. I feel like he should go up to a B and actually it does seduce you, but as soon as it controls over to you, it stings you again. Like say
Oh,
like.
God.
But yeah, I'm like, what am I supposed to really do? Like, my whole goal is not to kill you, but it would be very easy for me to do that. And it's like, well, I just got to put you, I guess, further away or put you in a different direction or like push you towards something else, because you were like out in the ocean for some reason. And, which was great because that's the whole idea. Like, you can go anywhere. But it's just being able to, I had no idea what I was coming up on the fly. And I guess that is the magic of playing as a skate master. I watched my friend be our DM for Dungeons and Dragons, and I've learned a lot from him. So shout out to him. He knows, and in inspiring me to essentially put on this, idea of concept for Heroscapers. So it's a huge thanks out for him. Because I never thought I could get into Dungeons and Dragons, and it's funny. I feel bad. We haven't touched it in forever, but for the very few times that we played, it inspired me to do this, and I'm so happy that that all of you really got to enjoy it and enjoy it very, very differently.
Yeah, as the outside observer, just kind of filming the whole thing, it was really, I had a really fun time just watching kind of at least the group of people that was in that. Because my brother and sister, I mean, they're both in multiple campaigns, as am I. We would play a lot of D&D. Like my brother-in-law Zephin, he's like the Chris Perkins of D&D. Like he just knows what things are. But he's not as experienced with Heroscape. And then you have kind of like G Busy and Ryan, who know a lot about Heroscape, but not as much about D&D. That kind of like that blend of like, oh, this is how you get the maximum attack, and then like the role play. It was just a really fun blend of just people interacting. You didn't have to know a lot about either to really fully enjoy it, which compliments there.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. One thing I try to work into the adventures is your amount of knowledge, and that's why I like bringing stuff in from NGC and the VC, communities, because these are units that majority of Heroscapers may not know, and I think I think it's fair to say, Josiah, that when you go into D&D and you do play as a veteran player, you'll know things that common people won't know. And you'll know how much life a certain character has and what characters could do this and what they couldn't do. So as, for example, Ryan and Cody walking into this and going, oh, yeah, that's the bees and the bees can do this. And, oh, that's this character. These are spiders and the spiders could do this. And, oh, here comes this character. We know that this character could do this. And it's like, oh, this person has 4 life, this person has 7 life, this person has that life, and it's like, oh, I know how much damage it does. But then having Zephin, and I apologize, Katura? Yeah, okay. Coming into this going, I don't know what that does. I'm really curious, and when you get a chance, when you see them next time, to ask them like about their experience in the sense of, did they have at any point any fear or mystery on encountering certain enemies and going, I don't know if I want to touch that. I don't know if I want to interact with that thing because I don't know what it does in Heroscape. And I think one of the things that I learned personally is, especially with this particular adventure, is I didn't realize barrels were going to be everybody's mystery. That's the one worst enemy. I mean, I think that was the one thing common in both adventures is that the barrels were your enemy. I was
Never met
not
a
seeing
trustworthy barrel.
What was that?
I've never met a trustworthy barrel.
That's
Yeah,
true.
no. It's... I mean,
Agree
yeah,
to
I mean,
that challenge with
some
open
of the
arms.
some of the, I mean, I will say the one common thing. I did one thing with one barrel in both games that I am making a staple now.
I loved it. If you're talking about what you're thinking
Yes,
about, yeah,
it is
I loved
exactly.
it.
It is yes. Yeah, that will become a staple now. He is going to be the barrel thing. He is going to be there. So
And I will
keep that
add,
in mind,
I
guys.
will add to like near the ending of it where you're able to get certain bits of
Artifacts?
glyphs,
Yeah.
and might not be a Heroscape standard, but my goodness, they are so fun. They are.
I'm glad you really enjoy them because I do think of Heroscape Adventure not as much of a D&D experience, even though that's what I kind of market it as, but I try to gamify, like video gamify Heroscape.
We're just pulling anything
because-
from pop culture, really. You know.
Yeah, well, at least with those in particular. But even so, it's like, it's the way I describe things and the way I envision the realism that I describe to you, the world that I describe to you, is very video gamey because that is what my experience is more is. You know, I experience a lot of video games more than Dungeons and Dragons. So,
I'll say
but yeah,
this.
no, I think
Hammer of Dawn, baby, Hammer of Dawn.
Hammer of Dawn. Which I'm going to actually I want to do a competitive match with that thing, and I'm actually going to nerf it. So instead of being 5, it's going to be only 3. Same amount of dice though, just 3 in a straight line instead of 5. I'm going to see if that makes much difference. And I'm also going to do it where in order to use it, you have to step on. So like, you know how normal all the competitive maps have the glyphs on the sides of maps. So those spots are going to be those black glyphs that you guys saw. And those are going to be like pressure plates. And you have to have at least one of your units on the pressure plate, or maybe both pressure plates. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to have to workshop it. But have units on the pressure plates to essentially activate the satellite so you can use the Hammer of Dawn.
Interesting.
But have the Hammer of Dawn in the middle of the map. So it's kind of like a race to that. Who has the control of that, have the control of the glyph so you can use it. That gets them a bunch of insta-kills. But that's a whole different idea to explore.
Well,
But I am very happy that you guys enjoyed the adventure.
Yeah, anybody who's watching, if you ever get opportunity, yeah, definitely check it out and get your favorite Heroscape character and just have fun with it. But yeah, okay, so winding down then in the stream, because I'm glad we started early. It feels like the night's still young, but we do want to wind down. Just a couple more things. Talk about the hotel. Was interesting. I mean, usually not too many negative things to say about the hotel. Usually, I mean, we did have some issues this year with the fact that we didn't have hot showers after like day one. There was
a water main break.
Yeah, there was some plumbing problems, and that was slightly worrisome.
Unfortunate for some people
until they fixed it, because it's like they had to have like, okay, they need to fix this now, or yeah, we can't do an event here. You can't even keep people there, and they did. They fixed it. And then there was issues with the elevator too. Elevator actually was in the elevator when the door went open from the inside. And it's like you had to press a button to go back down, then it opened, and then it's like you had to not press the multiple buttons at once, because then if for some reason it got confused. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try this again. Pressing one button, and it got me up there, and the door opened. Okay, fine, but it ended up getting shut down later anyway. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. But I mean, the hotel staff, they're usually pretty good, pretty accommodating. They know who we are, and they're usually pretty nice about it. So let's just hope the hotel will just upgrade a little bit for next year, and it won't be more rundown.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Otherwise, the hotel is a very nice space to hold it. The ballroom that we have all the games was awesome. The setup of the tables was perfect. And the rooms are still very nice. So it's like for anyone that was thinking about going, or I guess trying to figure out how they can go, regardless of the random shakeups that we had at the hotel is really nice. It's super convenient, and if by chance you do want to get some fresh air, regardless if it's being dry or not, there is a Subway outside. There is a nice convenience store and gas station. It feels like it's in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of cool. You're surrounded by highways.
Right by the airport. So.
Right by the airport. But you're kind of like, you're on an island, and you're in this Scape Valhalla.
And then
we're in Valhalla. We're with everybody.
One other thing too, before I get to the final thing, the illnesses. A lot of people did get sick near the end of it.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a passing on from people getting sick at Gen Con, and then it just fumigated with us. And I got a little bit of it. I'm still kind of half recovering from it, although it didn't knock me out as it did others like Present Josiah, and I know a few others got hit pretty hard with it. So here's hoping everybody is feeling better majorly from all that, because that's never fun. But here, let me pull up this thing again. Okay, so let me see. I'm I'll go back to that photo. But there is. I just want to show this. Because here is most of us, like online content creators there at ScapeCon. And we do this, try to do this every year, or at least every year that Joe's here, because he's usually the one that thinks about it. But no, isn't that great?
I take this community very seriously, and I really, really wanted a photo because, in 22, there was a handful of us. Ben was there, Sir Heroscape, Ryan and I, Mike,
Jeremy,
and Dysol. But we did not have Taylor, we didn't have Josiah, we didn't have Ragai, and we didn't have Adam and Rowan. And because we've had so many of those people, I was like, we gotta get a photo.
Like almost half the people in the picture weren't even around at ScapeCon II. It's
that's true
crazy.
too.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, Ben was still making content.
Yeah, Ben was still making content. Ben,
I joke with him. I know he'll be back at some point. Yeah,
we love you, Ben. No,
I'm so glad I got to talk. I'm so glad he was there to see him, to make sure that he was still doing okay. Because he's been a busy man. He's a busy man.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, no, I was so glad to finally meet Taylor 10 Points Under in person. I got to interact with Sir Heroscape a little bit more. Got to play against him, which was fun.
I've still yet to do that.
Yeah, it's playing with anyone, like it really isn't, unless you sit aside and be like, all right, let's go find a map and we'll do a private match type of thing. It is really depending on your event, even if you're playing an event with 15 people, it's still a gamble.
Yeah, it is.
To see if you're gonna play against somebody that you want to play against.
Joe, we've never had a tournament match against each other yet.
No, we have not. No. But we are making a tradition to play. Yes. At least one match each event, and so you have a win from 22, and now I have a win from 4.
Yep.
So at least we're tied right now.
Yes,
so back when I come in 26, you and me.
Yep.
We'll have to settle this for sure.
Yeah. So we'll get better. We'll get better.
We'll get better. Yeah.
And
I'll still bring Morrow.
Yeah, I'll bring whatever. I guess I enjoy a variety of whatever synergizes well. Yeah. Although it might be my Bs next time, because I think I've have a good BC combo.
Don't tell Adam.
Oh, BC.
I just realized why you said that. Don't tell Adam about the bees. Please make that a meme. Let's make
just
Adam seducing a bee.
Just Adam's face over that Nicolas Cage. Not the bees, not the bees.
No, he wants the bees.
Oh, just the bees, just the
just the
bees.
bees.
I will say it was nice actually meeting you, Ryan, and Joe, and Hexala. Just I refer to you as collectively Hexala, but Adam and Rowan. I've interacted with you all for so long. It was actually nice just to see you all in person, not in people, in person, and just see you all, see that you all have legs, which is nice to nice to know.
Dang, some of you are tall. I tell you what.
Don't tell anyone.
I stand up every so often. I have legs.
That's true.
Okay.
That's how I figured the bike.
I have this big room that I play in, so.
Listen, the worst part is now everybody knows my height and knows how short I am.
Yeah.
You're not walking around like just like this. It's like I look all right. Not that short, jeez.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I couldn't tell if Adam was really tall or you were really short. So,
if anything, yeah. I mean, I was expecting how tall
both.
Adam is. I think if anything, that's the biggest surprise. I actually didn't realize how tall my guy was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
You guys
tall
are
guy.
matching height there.
Yeah.
I can see that in the photo.
Yep, a bit. Yep, for sure. No, it was a great thing. It was a great thing that. I mean, someday maybe they'll have a panel of us, and they'll remember like 10, 20 years from now. It's like, yeah, I remember the day when, we all gathered together. Yeah. Now, what are you doing now? Well, practically the same thing. Still got 500 subs. Yeah, we still got 500 subscribers. We just love doing it.
No, don't say that. I believe we'll all of us combined probably can combine our subscribers and match servers.
With our powers combined, we are Captain Heroscape. He's our hero. Gonna bring those 10 points down to 0.
The Voltron of it all. Adam's got one hand, which is the bees. I got the body, which is just a swarm of Morrow. Ryan is just Severus's bow and arrow on the other arm.
With a voice. You gotta conclude the voice.
Yeah, you gotta include the voice. Josiah, what part of Voltron are you?
I am I'm probably the Vipers. I love the Vipers.
Ooh.
I'm the
I'm
the power gauntlets of the Venok Warlord.
No. You're the giant, like the Venok Warlord's tail.
Yes.
There's no legs. It's just a giant tail. It's the Slytherin thing that he stands on. What is that? Is that a tail? What do we call that?
That's the problem with steaks is you can't tell the line between stomach and tail is very thin.
That's true. Yeah.
Anywho, no, it was a lovely thing. It was a lovely thing.
Yeah.
And then I just want to mention too, like some very, well, let's say pretty memorable things for me with some of the games I played with people, and of course Ben. This is the ScapeCon was the first time I ever faced off against Ben MK Plus Ultra in a tournament setting, and I believe I had orcs, he had knights, and it was a very heated, close match. Although I will say this, if Ben's ever listening, there was just one moment in the game to where if he would have made a move in a certain way, then it probably would have been better for him. But I was just I wasn't going to say a thing. I was just be like, okay, I'm waiting for him to take this turn, and if he doesn't do what I hope he's not going to do, then I can get it and I can get the win, and it happened that way. So it was very close. We are at, I think, pretty equal skill level. So no, that was great with him, and I think that's the last photo I have. So let me shut this down here. Hold on a second. And then I do want to mention a couple. There's two here. Hold on, let me get this. And no, wait. Okay, I gotta remember how to get this off. Okay, I think it's that. There, okay. There it goes. And then, of course, I faced off against Rosecaper 2. That was a special thing. Although, I will say this with Ben though. When I found out that it was MK plus Ultra that was facing against, I went like, yes, and like, I don't know if everybody heard me, but I heard from somewhere across the room, yes, as when it was Ben. It's like, and I look at him, he looks at me like, yes, it's on, yes, let's do it, let's do it. Fun. So yeah, that was that was fun. With him, I ended up eking out the win with Ben, but it was it was very special. And then of course, me and Josiah, we faced off. I think I used that was it's an event that I don't think I will do again next year if they have
I don't like using other people's figures.
Yeah,
so much
it was bring
Mm.
two armies, and it was VC. And and that was one event to where I didn't do very well on. I think I did better than last time, but I ended up having like my army used against me way too many times.
Yeah.
But I ended up turning the tables around on that too with Josiah, and I used one of his because his main guy was what guy was that again? It was
The
VC.
Toth. We're using the Toth.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a fun army.
Yeah.
I didn't know that my opponent could use my figures, otherwise I would have changed. I didn't understand the format when I went in. I was like, I can. So I kept on picking my own squads, but then I realized that they could pick them. So I lost a bunch of games against mine, and then I my own units. And then I got like stuff I never really played with, like Varks and stuff like that. Varkanins, and I was like, those are a hard squad just to be handed.
Especially if you don't
interactions.
understand how they work.
Yeah, I was like, what do these guys do? And then,
Yeah, what do you mean I can't attack with them? No, they have to die first? Oh my god.
I had no idea how to play that army, so
Yeah.
I got that like once or twice. And I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I faced Chris Perkins during that, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to use your Varks, because he had Varks. I'm like, I don't want him to use them. I'll just use them and learn them. I know I'm going to probably lose this anyway, but and I did, but it was fun to use them. So
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that event a lot, only because I got to build armies that I wanted to play, but I also, because I knew what the event was and how it would work, is that if they did take any of my armies, I could see how they play them, and I can learn on how they would play it, because I know majority of people I will play against are going to be better than me. And so I had taken Spiders and Quohan as one army, and the other army was Havoc Eradicators and Chewbacca. And at first, I mean, the Quohan Spiders army is pretty just, straightforward. Bond Spiders, move Quohan, get as many kills as you can, whatever. But with the Havocs, I always thought, like, oh, let me move with Chewbacca first, teleport him in, and move him around, have him kind of die off, and then get my Havocs in front of the other army, and start smacking around, because I don't want to, do my ranged attacks, because then I have to roll for them to do their overheating and do more ranged. But it was almost the exact opposite. Like, just move your Havocs in, attack as melee as much as possible, and but I think that the Havocs and their range are not as risky as Stingers, which is why I like them way more than Stingers. I hate Stingers. I actually don't like. I like Stingers more than Drudge. No one likes Drudge, but that's not the point. But the Havocs, I think, are just a way better Stinger, in my opinion. But yeah, learning from how my opponent is going to play, and during that event too, I played a different army every single match, which I loved doing. Really, really appreciated doing that. So,
yeah, and then another significant the cool thing too with playing on a competitive level, which I'm not good at. I definitely have a lot to learn, but I think preparing a little bit, like doing my own skirmishes, streaming those, I think helped me a lot, to where I doubled my wins from the last 2 times that I was at ScapeCon. So for me, on a personal level, that was good. And one win I scored was against Vegetarian 18, who ended up winning the entire ScapeCon tournament events. I faced off against him in reinforcements. I had a Death Chaser army. He had Fourth Mass and Nilfheim, and that is a tough army to beat. But I've faced against Vegetarian 18 twice the last couple of years, and he's beat me. So I'm like, he's a very good competitor, lots of respect, and it was really cool to get that win against him.
Yeah, talking about that, I play against Chris Perkins often because he's in the Massachusetts group, and I always thought playing against him was going to be a tough match and like really stressful whenever. But the more I played against him, the more it's like, oh, this, I'm very relaxed playing against him because I know how good he is at the game and how professional he is. But I've never played against Veggie, and as soon as I did that, I was stumbling over my feet, and my fingers and everything. I made so many mistakes. I was just like, at this point in my head, I'm like, I lost. Just do whatever. I don't care. Beat me already, please. Just beat me. Like,
yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, this guy. He's like, whoo, too much.
Yeah, and then.
But very nice to play against. Very nice person to talk to. I've talked to them on
They're all good.
Some occasions. So.
And then the last one, of course, was me and Joe. We having what would you call it? Not an event match.
I call it a private match. I said, I just talk about things like their video games.
Yeah.
So that was like them playing all the days of multiplayer matchmaking, and then we got private matches. So
yeah, and I just and actually it came down to really just one move that I didn't do, or it was a lack of moving. It was just basically the way I positioned something. To where it's like that kind of sealed the deal for me at the end.
That's right. You took Omnicron snipers against the Grubs, and I had two Contourna and Turkolna. Turkolna, yeah.
I took that. I didn't take Torkolna. I took the other one. I took
you
the
took
VC.
Contourna,
yeah. I took him out, so that I was happy with that. But yeah, it just shows me that, okay, I got more to learn. But my last official tournament game, I got the win. That was a tough one too, and it was almost similar to what I was facing against Joe too. So that was special. But then again, the most special thing was just seeing all y'all there and being able to interact with you, and me not being in my hole in the wall all the time here, just isolated from everybody. So yeah, that was special. Seeing all y'all. But any other final thoughts before we close down this 2-hour stream? Nice conversation with you guys. Anything, Hexal? How about Hexal first? Anything you guys want to say before we shut down?
Give it any plugs. Plug you can.
Any plugs, and links description below for everybody. So there's that. Nada. They're like, oh, you're muted. You are muted.
I muted us instead of the other way around. No, this has been a great stream, a great conversation. I want to say again that I am looking forward, and hopefully we can get to go to ScapeCon next year. And I think I would only go Gen Con one, but I think I would do ScapeCon the whole time. It's kind of what I feel like we're going to do. We'll see how the world turns out things, but that's my opinion of it.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to speak. Forgive me, I am tired. No, I had a fantastic time. I was gonna be completely honest. I was worried I was gonna be like the odd woman out amongst the crowd, and I wasn't, and that was definitely pleasantly surprising. But it was a wonderful event. Everybody that I met was nice. I think I only played games against people I already knew, like with the exception of like one person, which was hilarious. But yeah, it was a great time.
Awesome. Josiah, go ahead.
Yeah, just overall a wonderful time meeting awesome people, playing too much Scape if that's possible, but it's not. And really just you really get to feel the sense of the enjoyment of the game and each other's company the whole time. Honestly, after I've recovered from the thing, I feel almost like withdrawals. Like I miss that atmosphere of having so like much like-minded and cool creative people just nearby. I feel kind of like, oh, this is what I have to go home to now, you know? Like it feels like I really like I'm just happy to be on this podcast talking to you all because I'm just like I miss all my friends, you know, and I miss rolling dice, that clackety clackety, you know. It's like I'm kind of trying to get my next hit somewhere, and so all that to say, it's been just wild, you know. I've wanted to go ever since I heard about this, just to play in kind of these events and stuff with that, and it's just nice to be in a position now to go and then have people like say, oh yeah, I got your paintings you sent me, and you know, I had a bunch of people come up to me and say that, and I'm just kind of humbled by the fan response to me, because I'm kind of I mean, I've been on like Heroscaper since 2012, but I've kind of been just a wallflower, you know, and I kind of tried to take this step out, and I've just been kind of lovingly embraced by the community, and I'm just really just blessed and happy to kind of be a part of it, you know. So yeah. In terms of plugs, just got some videos. Be on the lookout. Might be having a fun package to open pretty soon, and more on that later. And yeah, there's some really exciting things going on with me and Renegade. So be staying tuned for that. It's really just cool just to be doing what I love and the game I love around the people I love. So you know, I'm super happy there.
Yeah, and I applaud you, sir. I think one of the things that I like, anytime I like endorse someone, or you know, anybody who is a Heroscaper who's starting their own YouTube channel, part of my goals is just like, look, I want you all to surpass anything that I've done, anything that like Sir Heroscape's done, as far as like sub or view count goes, and just totally take off with it. I mean, it's a win-win, really. And yeah, I totally want to see you guys succeed in everything you do. So it's really cool, Josiah, that you got this, you know, partnership with Renegade, and yeah, just keep on going, man. So proud of you for that. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I know. I miss you guys too. I miss you guys. I strive so hard to get there this year, and I am so happy that I got to go and see all you guys. I had noticed in the chat too, Derek was with us, and he was like, I wish I was not at work, and was hanging out with all of you guys. And I look forward to seeing, in the next 2 years, see more people pop up making content, and you know, meet more people in this community making fantastic content. That's all I really want to see, because that was the one thing I wanted to do when I made my content, because there was only a few people doing it, very few people, and I wanted to make good content for this wonderful community. And boy oh boy, did we just come out with an absolute banger after banger, seeing all these other people come out of the woodwork, creating just fantastic content. So I know Hexala put out a ScapeCon video, and Josiah put out a ScapeCon video, and Guy put out a ScapeCon video, and Heroscape put out. Where's mine?
Yeah,
Mine's right here. We're doing mine right now. So you know, Lazy Man's version of
we're doing yours
ScapeCon.
now. You know, it's like, well, I have at least 3 to 4 videos that I'm currently writing scripts on, talking about all the different aspects in quite detail. So, please give me time. And I just got the notification this past week that my shipment of Age of Annihilation is coming in tomorrow. And I hated that I had to wait so long for it, but I'm so excited to opening that up. I'm going to do some recording tomorrow, assuming that it does actually come in. Even though that's what it says it is. To record and try to get that out fast as possible first. And then I'll be finishing up my scripts, recording and editing those and getting those out in the next coming weeks, because I did do a lot of filming at the at ScapeCon. So you got to be patient. Luckily, I didn't actually play against Gordon this year because he was very upset. He had to wait a very long time for his video to come out. And I apologize to him all the time for my tardiness. But because of how busy my life is and how long it takes me to edit all of my videos, you have to be patient. I am sorry. But trust me, I did not play 24 games. I played about 19. I think I filmed about 18 or 19 of them. I have to do a recount. I have all my notes in here. I did write everyone down. I got everybody's names and organized. So I got to start checking off everybody. I got little circles. I got to check everybody off. I got one page, 2, 3 pages here. Do I have a 4th page? No, that's it. All right. So it's just 3 pages. I got a bunch of games. I got to check everyone off, do interviews with people. That's what I'm going to do again. I'm going to interview everybody that I played with, and we could talk about more strategic gameplay mechanics and things because I'm more knowledgeable now. The reason I couldn't do that before was because I had no idea what I was talking about, and I don't want to, not talk about something I don't know. So I don't want to make myself look like more of an idiot. Yeah, lots of work, lots of exciting things coming to the channel. But yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to see Ryan again, and I got to spend so much time with him. I'm so happy I got to meet Adam and Rowan even before going to ScapeCon. That was so much fun talking to you guys for about 3 hours. Even though I had 3 more hours, and I didn't get to ScapeCon because I drove. Remember, guys? I drove 10 and a half hours.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. I had Ryan waiting up for me. But man, what a conversation! I really didn't want to leave. I was so happy to talk to them and how awesome our conversations were. Learning so much about their process and how they make videos and talking about their experiences with Heroscape. I love talking to you guys. It was so much fun. And then of course Josiah, seeing and being felt so jealous of the amount of equipment he has. I'm an equipment guy. I love my equipment and my gadgets. I love showing up with my brackets and things and all my different GoPros and attachments. I'm a gadget guy. So
Jojo Gadget.
Jojo Gadget. So it was so cool to see all that stuff and having someone actually help me film was such a trying to think of the right word here. Sorry.
Nuisance.
No, absolutely not. Because nobody, like, when I normally do my videos, it's just me. Like, I'm filming everything. And I've had, for at least Ud's Cup or Schweb's Cup, like, anytime I played, I did have one of my friends film. But they don't have, not anything on bad on them, but, like, they don't have the experience that as I do to film. But you do. So I'm like, really excited to going through the 4 hours, not your fault, my fault, 4 hours of footage for Heroscape Adventure. And so if you are possibly waiting for that video, keep waiting. I have no idea when I'm ever going to get to that.
Yeah,
but it will be, and I'm promising this, I am putting this statement out here, it will be in 2025. Okay. I just don't know when.
So. Yeah, because I mean, it's not like you're getting married in 2025 or anything like that, So.
Right? Yeah.
So.
Okay, so maybe 2026. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we'll see. It's gonna be a very busy year. I'm gonna get my shiitake straight. So anyway, with that, I will leave that with Ryan. So right, I yield my time.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, I guess I'll just say, overall, it really is a dream to just be here in this present moment in time. And I mean, I'm not getting into now. I've already told my story half a dozen times, but I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful just to have these type of opportunities to do what I do, to meet the people that I meet, and have the possible opportunities that might present themselves in the future. So I'm just very thankful for that, and all of you in the chat, everybody who was talking in the chat, thank you guys for commenting. And next Sunday, we're back to the ToV podcast. We're going to be recording ToV podcast. Probably going to be doing reading some lore, reading more Thorman's journal. I haven't done that in a while, so we're probably going to do that. And then this Wednesday, now I'll say this one thing: I am beginning a transition. There is another YouTube channel out there called Tales of the Void, and yes, it is my channel too. And that's going to be primarily focused on Adventure Together games, Time Strike, and anything related to Source and the Source system. And eventually it'll become another stop-motion animated adventure from Time Strike. And so lots to look forward to on that channel. But I'm going to start streaming from that channel. I'm going to start doing streaming on Wednesdays. I know in the past I've streamed on Tales of Halo YouTube channel on Sundays and Wednesdays, but there's going to be a transition to where in the future it's just going to be on Sundays that I'm streaming on Tales of Valhalla, and on Wednesdays it'll be Tales of the Void. Now that'll take some time because Time Strike and all those products, they haven't even been released yet. But this Wednesday I will be streaming on Tales of the Void. I'm going to be reading through some rule books because they released some rule books for Time Strike. So going to read through that, have some fun with that on Wednesday. But this Sunday we will have a ToV podcast. We will have some fun then. Yeah, just lots of changes happening, all for the good. And one thing I do want to say, I was thinking about, one thing I look forward to as well is when it comes to whatever future projects I do want to say when it comes to Tales of Valhalla, making future seasons. One thing I really want to do so much is to get as many people in the community involved as possible in that project, whether it's voice actors, whether it's animators, whether it's editors, whether it's just people who want to just come up with story designs or help with lore or whatever. I look forward to doing that because that's when like we're saying, the bonds that we develop in ScapeCon, just meeting or talking, like you're saying, Josiah, I feel like we didn't have a chance to talk enough, to have enough conversations because we're too busy playing the game. One thing I love about working in Tales of Valhalla and doing that type of production, there is time to that type of stuff, to have that type of goal of creating something, yet forming a brotherhood, forming another strong community. So it might take a little while, it might take a few years, but I do look forward to that as well. Mm-hmm. And all of you out there, appreciate all of you, appreciate the audience. Tales of Halo YouTube channel, it's still growing, and we'll see. There's probably going to be more and more new people coming up since, yes, again, Heroscape did get sold out on Renegade. Crazy stuff. But I thank everybody for watching. I thank everybody on the panel here tonight for coming on. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it, and we'll see all you guys next time. Later now. Bye-bye.